It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag Utah Jazz.
Right-hand drive, coming backdoor cut, Cody Williams. Oh, reverse side dunk by Cody Williams. Stretch that go-go gadget arm, Cody, and throw it down. Collier's working the top. His wristband with number 8 on it, up above his left elbow with the dribble. Gives to Lowry, isolated, 4 on the clock. Guarded by Sanders, they double, rotate, Bailey, corner, pow!
Leonard, a right-handed rebound, flat-footed. Here comes the board man. Dribbling with the right hand. Bailey in his shadow. Kawhi crossing straight away. 3, string music. Kawhi Leonard puts the Clippers up 18. Miller attacks the lane for the Clippers. Jumps in the air. Right corner. Lopez. Wide open 3. Got it. Clippers with their largest lead of 21 for the first time tonight.
The Utah Jazz predictably lose to the Clippers 115-103. Kawhi Leonard 21 points. Clippers won 16 of the last 19 games. The Jazz wanted a loss, and they got one. They sat Nurkic, they sat Keontae George, and not only did I think the loss was predictable, PK, I thought the way they lost. It was competitive for 2 quarters, and in the third quarter, the Clippers took complete control of the game, and the fourth quarter was mostly garbage time.
Don't forget they sat Sevi Malahulak. Him too.
Okay.
Yeah. The Clippers are really a veteran team. You just look at all those guys. I mean, this guy's been in the league for a long time. This guy's been in the league for a long time.
Yeah.
They're top guys. And they are the only team in the league that has 2 guys named after Kobe Bryant. Kobe Brown and Kobe Sanders, 2 players whom I've never heard of.
And yet, they're a couple of Kobes.
And then they got a couple of second-round picks that made the roster because somebody's got to make the roster. This is an extremely veteran team here, and they just overmatched the Jazz with the guys that they have available, and that was the point.
So we get what we get. The Clippers are trying to make their way back towards the playoffs and maybe the top 6 and avoid the play-in, and maybe they can pull that off. There's still a long way to go, but they are flying right now after a terrible start.
I don't understand it.
But
why avoid the play-in? In football, you got to play. If you sit out, you don't. And you're going to lose when you get back because the other teams may. Why is the play-in so dangerous? Why would you avoid that? When you want to keep playing, keep the mojo going, if you're going in the regular season hot?
No.
Why not?
Well, you're an inferior team if it happens.
That's not necessarily true.
The 7 and 8 seeds occasionally, but rarely do much in the playoffs. So you ought to be top 6 just because that's where most of the success comes from. And the thing that college football,
so what happened in the past that has something to do with today? I don't know by that.
The top 25. I mean, the top 25. It's the 24 and 25-day layoff. That is a long time to be off in college football.
Right,
That's what people complain about.
Basketball is such a skilled sport. It's like hitting a baseball. You don't want that much time off. I'm not comparing it to football. I'm just comparing it to time off. In basketball, why would you want time off? You hear these players of wanting to play every other day. Well, why do you avoid something?
The main thing is that you're one of the lesser teams if you're down between 7th and 10th. I think that makes you one of the lesser teams. We're a better team. We shouldn't be in that.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to compete to win the title anyway. I mean, if you're down there at 3 and 4, you're not going to win the title. So from that perspective, what's the difference?
I think there's a lot of truth to that. It does seem like most years, give me 10% of the league. I'll take 3 of the 30 teams. If I pick first and I pick my 3, I'll pick the champ, and you can have 27, and you probably won't have the champ. There's probably a couple outliers, but there aren't many.
Once you bring in the word in pro sports, avoid,
your antenna is way up.
Yeah.
You'll allow it in college in March Madness? You'll allow avoid?
Well, everything's a one-and-done deal, so it's completely and totally different.
And also there's teams with resources and goals and expectations.
Yeah,
for one team going to Sweet 16, at UC Santa Barbara in Northern Arizona.
Hang a banner.
Yeah, hang a banner. Sweet 16. You're the national champ. You might as well be
recognized forever.
Right. Yeah.
You'd have the 5-year reunion, a 10-year reunion, and so forth. Yeah. So that's why I said pro sports, which essentially resource-wise is even. And there's other factors that play into it, market size and attractability and management, blah, blah, blah. But that's on them. So, and the Clippers, right now, to me, if Kawhi is healthy, did I say Kawhi healthy? Kawhi Leonard is healthy, that they're dangerous. And who knows if he's going to be available, though.
Yep.
That's the big thing with him, right? I mean, he's
April's a long way away.
He's scored at least 20 points in the last 18 or 19 games he's played in, which has only been done 2 or 3 other times in franchise history, going all the way back to Buffalo they were talking about. I mean, he's an amazing player if he has his health, but obviously that's dogged him for the last several years.
Jazz Warriors tonight, Delta Center tip-off at 7, pregame at 6 here on The Zone. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
When I first came into the league, some of the biggest concerns of injuries was like, a high ankle sprain. You was afraid to step on somebody's ankle because there was 4 or 5 guys sitting in the paint. Guys with athleticism, myself, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, to name a couple guys. Sometimes you're afraid to take off into the lane because there was 4 or 5 guys sitting in the paint. And if you land on somebody's ankle, you get a high ankle sprain, you out 4 to 6 weeks. You don't really see that as much now because the game is so spread open, it's so much pace. But now you see the new high ankle sprain is the calf.
Evan Mobley sidelined by a calf strain, just as LeBron James is talking about calf injuries. And Giannis is out with a calf injury, and you can go on and on.
Yeah, we're trying to spin it as this is why we have so many injuries. This is why we take off so many games. Tell me about Michael Jordan going into the paint against the Pistons and tell me which one is tougher on the body.
Yeah. Well, first off, if you're not familiar with how badly he got hammered when he went in the lane, there's that. And second, he was playing an era when there were a lot of people, and he could have landed on an ankle in the lane. The Pistons had a bunch of big guys in the lane. Rick Mahorn was in the lane.
Not just
James
in
Edwards
the lane.
was in the lane.
Don't get James Edwards. He's very soft.
If you land on his foot.
Go Lambeer. Don't go James Edwards.
Lambeer, too.
No, not two. Only. Not Edwards. I'm not going Buddha. Yep. The guy was as soft as you when you played hoop.
They are all in the paint.
And they're there with boxing gloves. It's just somebody employed by the league who's trying to spin it that these are why the injuries, it's so tough. We're victims. It's harder now. The fans aren't buying it.
No, the fans want to see the Stars play. The fans don't really care what the explanation is. They want to see the Stars play. And when the Stars sit, disappointment follows.
What was tougher, getting bludgeoned when you went to the basket or now?
Even the stuff that happened in the Lakers-Celtics 40 years ago and all that, which was pretty brutal, what happened with the Pistons and the Knicks, I think that was the most physical, least basketball, WWE time in the NBA. Something's going on now. I don't know what the deal is. I mean, it's a combination of guys are hurt because we are seeing Achilles torn, and they do seem to follow calf strain, so there's something real there. But there's also a sense of the regular season doesn't matter, just get me to the playoffs. And that's the part that people don't like. And that turns fans off. Thunder, best team in the NBA. They just keep winning. They win again. They beat the Pelicans 104-95. They did have a little in-game altercation. Lou Dort, Jeremiah Fears. Nothing that would compare to the Pistons and the Bulls, though. Suns beat the Nets 106-102. The Nets will be here soon. Friday, I think. Dioman, yes. Shoving Dylan Brooks. Everybody's sick of Dylan Brooks. Antagonist. And he loves it. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college basketball.
Aggies are on the air tonight. They play in the Spectrum. Scotty G will have the call as Utah State hosts Wyoming. Pretty decent rivalry back and forth between those schools, but they're about to go their separate ways in 2 different conferences here. So Wyoming coming in, not a great year for them. They are 12-8 and 3-6, and you would think that Utah State should handle the business and get the win at home tonight.
Oh, sure.
7 o'clock for the tip, 6:30 for the pregame show. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
Do you want Aaron Rodgers back as your quarterback next year?
I mean, definitely. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't. But, I think just like anything, knowing Aaron long enough, I think when players are up at that stage of their career, they need to step away and decompress it. I think that's very important.
Mike McCarthy, the new coach of the Steelers, wants Aaron Rodgers back. What does Aaron Rodgers want to do? He's taking time away to figure it out. Let the emotions of the season go away. So
I've been out for
waiting,
3 weeks now.
Waiting on him. Yeah, I know.
Longer than on me. Get on with it.
Yeah, probably another 2 or 3 weeks.
Why?
Because it's available. They'll make a decision until you have to, and they'll probably wait for him.
That's your philosophy? Don't make a decision? I look at decisions, and I want to be all in immediately, so I know that I've made the right decision, and I have all the gusto. Don't wait until I have to make a decision? That's a ridiculous philosophy.
Denver Broncos coach Sean Payton said that star quarterback Bo Nix has a pre-existing ankle condition that made his ankle fracture inevitable. Nix was lost for the season in the win over the Bills in the divisional round. See if they can get him back for next year.
Well, that's poor coaching then. If you knew he was going to break his ankle, you should have been playing Stidham.
See, there you go.
No, he didn't get a fair chance there. I mean, the weather was just ridiculous. And I mean, that really sucks to go through the whole season and have the weather be
and you get down to
both teams.
Yeah, and you get down to the fourth quarter and the game's on the line, and it's just the fourth quarter was just all about survival.
Yeah. That was not fun.
Yeah.
That's not what I want to see.
And as bad as the snow was, the wind looked even worse.
They couldn't even kick an extra point, let alone a field goal.
Yep. All the punts were getting blown out of bounds.
I know.
That was weird.
That's a shame.
Payton fired Joe Lombardi, Bronco offensive coordinator, in the aftermath of the loss to the Patriots. Said the team's offense didn't do enough during a Super Bowl trip. Wide receiver coach Kerry Colbert and cornerbacks coach Addison Lynch also let go in the shuffle of the Broncos coaching staff. Man, that team's gotten better every year. They're in the AFC title game. Not good enough. Next.
I mean, it's a cold, harsh world out there when you're letting Kerry Colbert go.
Former USC Trojan, right?
I remember him.
Back in the day. The Bills promoted offensive coordinator Joe Brady to head coach. He gets a 5-year contract. He's been with the Bills since 2022. Took over as offensive coordinator in 2023. Since they were unhappy with the results and firing the coach, I thought they'd make a clean break with that administration in that era. Get some new ideas in the building. But no. It all falls on the head coach, and they promote the OC. The Bills. How are they going to get to the Super Bowl? How are they going to win the Super Bowl? That is their quest. Can Kansas City get back and get in their way? The Broncos and Patriots don't appear to be going anywhere. They got young quarterbacks and good teams. Seems like there have been opportunities for the Bills here that have been squandered. It'll be interesting to see if there's another one or if this is all passing them by and the window's closed. Bill Belichick, 8-time Super Bowl winning coach, not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He fell short of the 40 votes he needed, 40 out of 50, 80% for induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Sources close to the coach describe him as puzzled and disappointed. I did read one thing there, that the format for that is you get to vote for 3 people. And so if people are going to value players over coaches, you may think he's in, but you're only voting for 3. So you pass him over for other names that seem more worthy to you, and players and coaches as apples and oranges. Or this is just a repudiation of Spygate, and you broke the line. Forget about it. You're not being a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm not voting for you.
A repudiation?
A repudiation.
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know what the heck that means.
Yeah, thesaurus.com. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Answer to all your questions is money, PK.
That's problems, not questions.
Duke and Miami coming to a deal, and Darian Mensah gets to leave Duke and go sign with Miami.
Like what I want to eat today.
Money.
It's not money. I don't want to eat money, and it's not a money issue. I'm fortunate enough that whatever I want to have,
you can go get lunch.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's the answer to all your problems. Now, if I didn't have enough money,
that would be a problem.
Right. So the answer to your problems, not your questions.
You had questions about why Darian Mensah
Do I look fat in this
left.
hoodie? That has nothing to do with money.
Money.
No. It's not questions, money. Problems.
Former Duke wide receiver Cooper Bartake also Miami bound.
Cooper Bataki's leaving?
Or Barcade. I mispronounced that.
Oh,
I may have still Barcati? I don't know. Coop, right, exactly. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NHL.
Look out. It's a shorthanded breakaway. Schmaltz in the clear. Dangles and scores. Nick Schmaltz with a shorthanded beauty. And it's 1-0. Mammoth on top after Schmaltz takes it himself all the way down. Mammoth steal a puck at the blue line. They skate ahead. Barrett Hayton at the empty net scores. Barrett Hayton scores the empty netter for the Mammoth with just under a minute left in the third period after Utah broke up a play at its own blue line.
Utah Mammoth get 4 goals from 4 different players, and they beat the Panthers in Florida 4-3. It is a good road trip. They are now 4 points in the 3 games. Maybe it'll be a great road trip. We'll see what they do with Carolina tomorrow. But PK, they are not cooling off just because they left home, and we talked about the need for them to keep piling up points in advance of the Olympics. They don't have Cooley. Last night they didn't have Gunther either, some type of lower body injury that they never comment on those. They just go upper, lower body. So whatever it was, Gunther's out, Cooley's out, and they get 4 different guys scoring goals. And Schmaltz has been, I think, 15 points, 14 games. He's been on fire. But the other guys who scored, none of them even have 10 goals on the season. It's just a goal here, a goal there, and
they're a goal
make it
work.
Yeah, right. Make it work, and they did.
Yeah, I like that they didn't give up a goal when they were down in the penalty situation for the power for the other team.
They killed them all.
That's important. So yeah, it was a great night.
Power play goals are the only thing to beating them lately. The other night in Tampa, 2 power play goals beat them. But other than that, it's been one win after another. Now sitting on 60 points, and Utah wraps up that trip. Carolina tomorrow, 5 o'clock for the puck drop. That is what is trending, and is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up, Sam Farnsworth at 9 o'clock, Tim Lacombe at 9:30. Sam's headed off to the Olympics. What's it like to cover an Olympics? Sam will tell you. He's become a veteran of this now, so we'll talk with him at 9 o'clock. The best and worst things about heading to Italy for a month. Tim Lacombe, jazz analyst for SCG Media, here to talk about that, and also former BYU basketball coach. We'll talk to him about the loss to Arizona and the looming game with nationally ranked Kansas on the road. Tim's coming in at 9:30. To win tickets Wednesday, we've got tickets to watch the Pro Bowl Riders, and it's the Unleash the Beast Tour at the Delta Center February 6th. So that's coming up. DJ and PK, the question of the day is next.
This is JJ and Alex.
I got this. Join us on the program right now. Jonathan Tavernari, BYU great.
BYU doesn't really have a marquee win this year, which it's a knock on them. It's an issue that they're facing right now. They couldn't get the job done against number 15 Texas Tech on the road, couldn't get the job done against number 3 UConn on a neutral site, and couldn't get the job done at home against number 1 Arizona. This is a roster made up for you to get to the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, the Final 4. And so expectations have to be counted on. And so at that point, BYU doesn't have really something that they can hang their head on yet, which is what makes the Saturday matchup in Kansas beyond important. Is BYU worthy of a top 4, NCAA seeding? There is a lot at stake on Saturday, more than just a win on the road on the Big 12.
Catch JJ and Alex afternoons from 3 to 7 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The KSL Sports Zone and Beehive Meals are honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com/contest, and listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. All right, PK, you came across a fabulous list out there for all the college football fans. Utah has the most appearances in the college football rankings without making it to playoffs at 50. Is it frustration or more the sign of a consistent program? For people who are wondering, Oklahoma State's up next to 43. BYU is 10th on the list at 23. And in between, USC, Iowa, Wisconsin, Auburn, Florida. A few recognizable names, Baylor and K-State. out of the
Big 12s in there.
out of the Big 12. Yeah, that is all told now. Well, 3 longtime members of the Big 12, and with Utah and BYU, 5 of the. There's 12 teams on the list. BYU is 12th. I apparently have problems counting. But anyway, there you go. Almost half the list is Big 12.
You just go down the left side and then you double it, so you don't even have to count to 12.
I did originally.
You know what I mean?
did not originally, but I did finally.
No, you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it's even.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
One of those things where
12.
you match them, and so then you don't even have to go past 7 because you just know 6 times 2 is 12. Boom, you're done.
Bad news for Thurl Bailey. NC State's on the list at 11. So there you go.
Actually, I think for Utah, I think that's great news. Now, obviously, you want to get in the playoff, but for so many years, it was stacked against you, and you had to get voted. Now, I mean, you can get voted in now, but you stand a much better chance of earning it. And the thing to me, that signifies that this program is in a great spot and has been in a great spot for many, many years. I always look at when the schedules come out, and I'm talking about the 12 games. You don't know who the 13th or 14th, whatever it might be, just the literal 12 games that you know you're going to play. To me, I always ask myself, can this team get to 8 wins? That's the starting point. If you get to 8 wins, you have a decent team. Then you go. Can it get to 9? Can it get to 10? And so forth. And for much of the last 2+ decades, I would answer to myself, yes, Utah can get to 8 wins. That's the starting point. I'm not saying that's a great season, but I'm saying that you got to get, in order to get to a great season, you got to have 8 wins along the way, right? And so to me, that is something that far more often than not for the Utes, I've been able to say, yes, they can and most likely will get to 8. That's the mark of consistency. That's essentially why Kyle Whittingham is coaching at Michigan today. Not for a couple of big seasons, and for 20 years of consistently very good to excellent seasons. And there's a couple of clunkers in there. We know early on the adjustment to the Pac-12 was a big adjustment. They told us that, and it happened. And then we know later here recently
playing
that
4
a couple
or 5
of
quarterbacks.
injuries.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, Tyler Huntley, I think, got a 7-6.
He did.
But
his sophomore year, yeah.
But they got the payoff when he was a senior.
Right.
He was incredible. And so they have been so good for so many years that I think that, sure, you want to get into the playoff, but it's not like the pros where everything is bracketed and you don't need somebody sitting in a boardroom.
Here you do need somebody sitting in a boardroom. And whether they've been in the Pac-10
for the most part,
or the Big 12, it seems stacked against them.
Not anymore.
They have 5 bids for conference champs now, which you used to have 9. You could win your conference, and they could leave you out. And Florida State's the all-time example.
That's why it was so cool about the Rose Bowl. It wasn't a beauty contest.
It was
won on the field. There was nobody who could take it away. You didn't need anybody's approval to win. You won. You beat Oregon, you beat SC, and you went.
So 50, that's great, and that is the consistency, and you do want that. I mean, would you rather be Utah football or, NC State football or Mississippi State football, who have half as many?
Well, I think that's not who you're comparing it to. Would you rather be ASU, who had 1?
Not on the list, but they made it one time.
So they won't be on the list.
Right.
In the last 20 years, there's no question you'd rather be Utah. There's zero question. Nobody would say. Now, the next 20 years, we'll see. But we're going what is a track record, what is proof, what is history. There's no question whose program has been better. And now you've got a new day. I see no reason. I can't come up with any, and I've been thinking about this, as to why I would go into the 26th season. Same thing. Can this program win 8 games? Yes, that's my starting point. Now, go from there. Yep. Can they do this, this, and this? Yes.
I remember doing our football roundtable. It's so funny you mentioned those numbers, right? Because I remember doing our football roundtable last year and saying, I think BYU can win 8. Maybe they can win more than that. But they're playing a freshman quarterback, and I've never seen him play football. And Utah can win 9. That O-line's going to be dominant. They ought to be able to run the ball because Kyle's teams always run the ball. Maybe they can better that. Well, they did. They surpassed 9. They had 10. And BYU wildly surpassed 8. They had 11. And Bachmeier never really had those games where, it's three picks and a pick 6. And it's like, well, he's a freshman and a good team confused him and he got a bad break on that ball that bounced off somebody's hands. And that's the way it goes. You played a freshman quarterback. We never really had to come in and say that.
No.
I couldn't have predicted that, but you knew they were good. You just didn't know if they'd be much better than that.
And I'm going into this season thinking the same thing with Utah, that they will be competitive again, like they are almost all the time. And that's a good position to be in. And they send guys to the pros every single year. They're going to send multiple guys this year. Just last night I was talking to Mel Kiper Sr., and he told me.
You were not Mel Kiper Sr.
I was talking to Mel Kiper Sr.
You were not.
I was too. And he's, Mel Kiper Jr. gets all the run.
He does.
But behind every junior, there's a senior.
He's got better hair. I mean, senior's older, so it's not as glorious.
So with that in mind, they're going to send guys in. All the metrics that define a quality program, check, right down the list for the Utes. The only thing that isn't is can they count on their quarterback being a high draft pick? No, that's not what they do. Now, maybe that changes. With Ford is the new guy, and maybe he drives them in a different manner. Maybe Ford is a different type of driver of a program. What?
You know what?
I do not know what.
You do know
I am
what?
whatless.
The answer to all your whats is money.
Now, that's the thing. Funny you bring that up.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, okay, we've got the track record, right? It's undisputed. You cannot argue with anything I just said. Going forward, what could be the only thing in my mind that would, or the most logical thing, there could be other things, but the most logical thing that would derail them from being the status that they've been for 2 decades? And it is money.
It's the first thing out of everybody's mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody can believe where it's gone in 5 years. It's turned everything upside down. On the teams that took themselves off this list and out of that consideration, breaking through, Vanderbilt, Texas Tech, Indiana, all getting their first invitations. Now, they weren't very far up the list because they didn't have the 23, so they can be in the top 12.
Well,
like
they
these
wouldn't
other
have been
teams.
ranked.
Right, yeah.
As much.
Right. So it'd be interesting. Tech maybe, but I mean, like Vanderbilt was probably ranked like 6 times before they got it.
Texas Tech? You're talking, they weren't ranked. They were never ranked.
They've never been ranked?
In the playoff
In the college
thing?
football playoff thing?
Maybe back in the OOs.
Yeah, so I just wondered if there was one in there somewhere. I mean, like if they were 6 and 1 at some point.
They would never come close to that list.
They would not come close to 23 or 24.
No.
I know. Right. In Indiana.
They had 5 losing seasons from 16 to 21, and they only won 8 games twice since Leach left in like 08, 09.
Yeah. Vandy's getting their first rankings, and they obviously don't have an invite yet.
Texas Tech, and it's harsh to say for Texas Tech fans like it is for Oregon fans, they get all sensitive, you were bought and paid for. Great. But that's the reality. You were bought and paid for. David Bailey is going to be a top pick here in a couple of months in the NFL draft, and he came for 1 season because
Oregon is just basically a hooker.
You gave them the most money. You gave him the most money, and good for him.
Not knowing
good
how
for them.
Not knowing how the rules and money are going to change going forward. It's been such a wild card the last few years. It's turned around Vanderbilt, Indiana, Texas Tech, Ole Miss in ways we could have never guessed. So who knows what is to come. Whatever your school is, if somebody hits it big in whatever business and decides, I want to plow money into this team, and maybe we've already started to see it with Kansas. Maybe we know that $300 million gift endowment thing, and Kansas has been terrible forever, and then occasionally decent, and then back to terrible. Who's to say? In 5 years, we look back and more people have plowed money into Kansas football. And we're like, how did that happen? After it happened at Indiana and Vanderbilt, I feel like it can happen anywhere.
Well, it's going to happen annually because that's the thing. As the Michigan coach said, what's his name? It goes up 10 to 15% per year. That's a substantial increase.
Substantial.
On a yearly basis.
For people who are saying this isn't sustainable, a 10 to 15% increase. Whew. Hard to keep
nothing
up.
is sustainable. I mean, we think financially, real estate, how in the world can it keep going up? I don't know, but it keeps going up.
Yep.
Player salaries, how in the world can it keep going up? I don't know, but it's keep going up. And we're going to have, in time, some dude is going to be making $100 million a year to play a sport. It's a joke, but that's where we're going.
Happen. Yeah.
I mean, they're making $50, $60 million for one freaking season.
The race is on between baseball and basketball.
Yeah, it's outrageous. So we'll say it can't keep happening, but it does, and it's getting more preposterous. Mark Harlan took a lot of heat because Mark Harlan has turned into a lightning rod for some reason. And some of it he put on himself. I get it. He got emotional, and he went out on the field, and then he spoke in the postgame. We know that, and it was unheard of. We've never seen anything like that. At least I haven't. And so, at least I know the guy cares. And so it was unfortunate, but blah, blah, blah. Chris Hill is recorded screaming at the
Bobby.
Yeah.
The head of the referees.
Yeah.
And it came through a concrete wall underneath the Huntsman Center, and you could hear it in the postgame.
If it would have been Mark Harlan, my gosh, we would have had people walking out of schools protesting. And so he's become a lightning rod. And then he takes the thing on the Moa kid, and he mentions it, and now, it's unbelievable. I get it. And he shouldn't have done it. Okay, fine. And he deletes it, whatever. But the fact is, the point I'm making is, we hadn't seen a kid, an incoming freshman, go to school for a week and then get out. That's unusual. Well, then what do we have? 2 weeks later, the Duke quarterback, we're going to sue you to keep the contract. Then, okay, he gets out of it, and then he's going to go to Miami. After not putting his name in, saying he was going to come back, blah, 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 blah. Last year, Tonavasa, oh my gosh, people rolled over in their graves. He decided.
That is out of control, and they all do it. You know that, Bobby.
He knows it.
You're supposed to be good officials.
Hello.
I mean, we're dealing in sports and emotions. And when was the last time emotions got the best of them?
I don't recognize that
in
voice.
sports. Last night. Lou Dort. Yegor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
All the time. And quite frankly, we love it. And then later on, we wring our hands in our paw. How could that happen?
Yeah. We're not talking about people walking down the street.
Yeah.
We're talking about a competitive environment here. So emotions overflow. It's not that unusual when you think about it. And should it have happened? No. But does it happen all the time? Yes.
Yes. Travis Kelce apparently loves Andy Reid, and Andy Reid loves Travis Kelce.
And he loves Taylor Swift.
Yeah, they too. And all of a sudden, Travis Kelce is standing there in the biggest game, just screaming his head off at Andy.
Right. A Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so these things happen that we don't expect happening, and they continue to happen. A kid enrolls in school and then drops out and goes to Michigan. A kid says he's going to come, signs a contract, blah, blah, blah. We had the same thing. Who was it with somebody else had the contract? Oh, the Washington coach, our quarterback.
Damon Williams,
Yeah.
you have the Clemson linebacker.
Right.
Yeah, you have
so
all these.
things that we don't anticipate happening are happening. And when is it ever going to end? I don't know that it's ever going to end. And the only thing that I can see, or the most logical thing that gets in Utah's way, is if they can't compete financially as the stakes continue to be raised. Other than that, I don't expect a big drop-off, if at all, by the new regime.
You do a good job with these questions of putting two things in that are true and then asking which one is it. It is frustration. I mean, there is frustration over missing the playoffs and not.
Sure, but it's a good frustration. It's
I
coming from a point of strength, not weakness.
I get your point. Do you think, given the SEC the last 3 years, all the predictions about, hey, the SEC has been paying players, this era isn't going to go as well for them, given their head-to-head record, like they've lost a head-to-head series with the ACC now 2 times out of 3. Mm-hmm. They've been getting dominated by the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. They don't have a lot of interaction with the Big 12, but even that is pretty even. Mm-hmm. And you can argue it's too small a sample size to read anything, and I get that.
Well, we're projecting going forward.
Right. So I'm just wondering if they're going to get 5 berths going forward. I think no. I do think
5 out of 12?
I know, right? They're not going to get that.
No.
So is it going to open the door for a second or third Big 12 team to get in? Or is that berth going to go to the Big 10 because now the Big 10 is going to be viewed that way?
If it's earned. If it's earned, they'll have the advantage. They say, I'm not a political guy. but they say that the incumbent, it's like a boxing match. Mm-hmm. The reigning
champ. You got to knock the champ out to be the champ.
Right.
Yeah.
And so those situations, particularly the Big Ten now, will have a built-in advantage, but it's not an non-overcomable or unovercomable situation.
Because of what we've seen, it's hard for me to believe, and there's no obvious cracks, it's hard to me to believe that Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon are going to miss the playoff. Now, watching those Big Ten schedules come out yesterday, I did think Ohio State's schedule legitimately looks hard. That looks hard. I know.
All we needed to do for BYU was to schedule Oklahoma State instead of Texas Tech.
It would have been a different deal. They'd have been 12-0.
Yeah.
And this year, BYU and Utah don't play Texas Tech in the 12.
Well, yeah, that's an advantage for Texas Tech.
Because now they ought to be flying.
Right.
No, Tech's schedule is...
Yeah. That's why they made the big deal. Somebody, when they released the thing the day before, the big game is
Arizona State, Texas Tech.
No, October or November, whenever it is. I don't even remember what it was.
I think it was October 7th.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But they're like one game?
And that's going to be the argument. It's going to be the old argument we heard against G5 teams like Boise State in their glory days, and they're still pretty good. But when they were really rolling, they'd have a big game in September, and then it would be like, oh, they just have one big game. Now, sometimes it worked for them, sometimes it didn't.
We'll see. Maybe
it's about to work for Utah.
Things happen, and it is football. The ball bounces weird. So,
and I just
it
don't
looks
think
like everyone is playing for a second berth.
And at some point, the SEC and Big Ten will hash this out, and we'll end up at 16 or 24 or whatever it's going to be. So there'll be more berths, and it'll be easier to make.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to stay.
I mean,
12.
eventually they're going to make it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to get expanded. 24 seems a little outrageous to me. I would go incrementally. I think that when you have something that's restrictive and then you go crazy on it, it's like the rules that were so restrictive for the players. You realize there was a time that kids, if they wanted to transfer in the conference, had to sit out a year and lose a year.
And now you don't even have to hit the 2-week window. You just have to pick up and go and let the lawyers settle on a number.
Everything has changed. They had no freedom. Now they got all the freedom in the world. We went too far. And that's what I view from 12 to 24 by doubling it seems a little silly. Why not go to 16 and then see what you got there? And then if you feel a need to improve it or expand it, okay. So, but BYU and Utah in the next 10 years, say, I would be shocked if we were sitting here, and I obviously won't be sitting here then, but in 2036, if there's 0 playoff appearances between the two.
That would be surprising.
I can even see Utah State getting in.
You know, it'd be interesting to go because I think one of the things of the 24-team playoff, if it comes, is that the argument the Big Ten is making there is that let's make it like the NFL. Let's give every league 3 or 4 berths, and there's even more chance to play your win. They want to minimize the committee, so the committee's deciding a quarter of the field or less, instead of letting the committee decide 3/4 of the field.
No committee. Conference commissioners. Conference coaches.
Let them hash it out.
Yeah.
Conference coaches is Back to the Future. When I was a little kid, just starting to follow it, Michigan and Ohio State I think they were undefeated going into the last game, and they tied, and the conference coaches voted on who went to the Rose Bowl.
And I'm
Back
telling
to the
you
future.
This, Eric Kerr is so good, I can see Weber getting in. That's how good he is.
That'd be something.
You watch.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
But Keontae George and his career high 43, 15 of 28. That was an efficient 43, if there is such a thing. He continues to be the story of the season for the Jazz by a mile.
For the first time last night, Will Hardy called Keontae a star. I don't think I've heard him call him that before. He said,
our fans are watching, one of our own grow in front of their eyes, and, he's really turning into a star.
Coaches can prop up their players, coaches can pat them on the back, but for him to call him a star, I think does just kind of give you you some insight on how the Jazz are now viewing their basketball team. The Jazz know Lowry's a star, and they view Keontae as a star, and they're going to go try and find a third piece or whatever they have to pair next to him, or maybe Ace Bailey can develop into it.
I'm telling you, when they have the green light to make it happen, they're a good enough team to win 40 games.
Catch Jake and Ben weekdays from 10 to noon on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ, PK, we were just discussing a list of teams that have made the most college football playoff appearances without getting into the playoff itself. And Utah's on top of that list with 50. BYU now at 23, 12th on the list. And at the rate BYU's been going the last couple of years, they might pass a bunch of teams on that list.
Oh, they're going to get in.
Well, then that would do it. But they'd pass them first here because you'd have to be ranked like 6 more times before you get in, presumably. If they get in this year, then you're right. That takes them off the
goal
list.
for you, BYU next season is playoff. It's like the Mammoth. And
that's kind of that
will
arc.
Be
Yeah.
in the jet. Now, college football is a lot harder. I understand that than to make the playoff.
But it's still, you want to get close.
But
You want to
that's the
knock.
goal.
You want to knock on the door, and then you want to kick the door in.
And they've done that. They've done that. Now, the goal is to get to Arlington, the Cowboy Stadium, that first Friday in December, and then win it. Clearly, nothing else matters.
There are 3 teams that have 0 appearances in the rankings. Do you know who they are? The bottom of college football? Or at least teams stuck in the middle that can't get ranked?
Well, are we going to the non-power 4?
No, in the power leagues. In the power leagues, there's 3 that haven't been ranked.
Well,
haven't even been able to crack
we're not just
the
talking
25.
the last 2 years. We're talking since this advanced from the BCS.
Yeah, in the 12th year of the college football playoff.
If you would have told me, and I'd have a list, I'd have a better. If I looked at the conferences division, the conferences, but there's been pretty much everybody in the Pac-12.
Yes, all the Pac-12 has been ranked at some point. You are correct. The league you follow closest. And I will tell you that now that we got through this last year, Kansas and Texas Tech were the last
I'd say
two.
Rutgers.
Bingo. Nailed it. Yeah. And ironically,
Maryland.
Yes, the other team the Big Ten accepted purely because they were trying to get more money out of people's cable and satellite TV bills. Yeah. And Cal's the other one. So it was a Pac-12 team. There was a Pac-12 team, Cal. My bad. So Cal, Maryland, and Rutgers haven't been ranked. So don't be on that list. There you go.
Yeah, because you're extending the ranking out to 20, 25.
25
right?
now, yeah. So Kansas slid in and got themselves off the list.
Well, yeah, I mean, you go 2-0. You get not.
No, they don't, because you got to get
I meant
6, 7, 8 weeks deep in the season whether to do that first ranking.
2-0, you build a little momentum.
Yeah.
You get to 3-0, and then what do they do? It was week 7,
somewhere in there. Yeah.
So if you got a little momentum going into it, which obviously you'd have to have, and that's the thing about the two Arizonas is they'll have seasons. You just don't have any consistency. And the funny thing with those two is like they take turns.
They're never up at the same time.
It doesn't seem like
You're right.
it. No.
You're right.
It'd be nice for the state if they would both be good.
They could both be 9-2 or 10-1 going into the Territorial Cup.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. I mean, and then one team's really good and the other team sucks, and then they reverse it. And they gotta. I would like to see a time, because that's where my roots are, have both of them.
And that would be a big game.
Yeah.
Instead of 4-7, whoever is playing.
And then you'd have
9-2 or 10-1.
You'd have a better chance of keeping some of the outstanding homegrown talent locally. You're like, whoa, I got everything I need right here. But that's not the case.
Was this year really the best they've been head-to-head?
Probably, yeah, in a while. I'd have to go back and check.
Yeah.
And they were playing, one was playing with a backup quarterback, and their receiver, I think, had one reception and then strained his hammy again. So Tyson obviously was out.
Yeah.
And so they can't get it together at the same time. And that would be nice if they could.
Yeah. All right, DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The Utah Jazz go down to defeat. It's how they do it, though. And can you live with that? Because there are a couple details that really matter. That's next. Stay with us.